Like many other people, I played the video game masterpiece Bioshock that released in 2007. I played Bioshock 2 in 2010. I then finished the series with the release of Bioshock Infinite in 2013. But Bioshock Infinite ends in a confusing place, leaving many questions. The developer, Irrational Games, now called Ghost Story, released story-based DLC to further answer the questions the players have. It is quite complicated, so here is how many interpret the ending of Bioshock Infinite and its DLC. First, we have to summarize the game. We start off with Booker going to a lighthouse with two mysterious people. He knows that he is trying to find a girl, but that's it. Through a series of small puzzles, Booker is launched up into the Sky City of Columbia. Here he learns a man named Father Comstock, or Zachary Comstock, who is basically the ruler of the city. Things are unsettling for Booker. Everything seems too perfect. As he works his way towards the city's giant statue called Monument Tower, using his weapons and newfound powers called Vigors, he hears of something being kept imprisoned in the tower. As he reaches the top, he sees that people have been studying a girl named Elizabeth with extraordinary powers, and she happens to be missing the tip of her pinky. It appears that she can open a door to a different place in the world. Booker easily helps Elizabeth escape until the massive mechanical songbird tries to take Booker down, and of course, fighting and skyrail chases ensue. Booker learns that Elizabeth does not like Comstock because she is his daughter. Comstock had Elizabeth locked up in that tower for 19 to 20 years, with the mysterious songbird being the guard. They move on to try and stop Comstock and get Elizabeth out of the city.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. This will end in blood, Quid. Then again, it always does with you, doesn't it? It always ends in blood.
On their journey, they discover many enemies and significant figures in Columbia. One notable character is Jeremiah Fink, who runs almost all production in Columbia. He is an engineer and scientist who builds the Handyman, a terrifying mechanical enemy whose organs are grafted to the inside of a metal exoskeleton. Creepy, I know. Through the fight with Fink, Comstock, and their army, they use Elizabeth's power to try and escape. They realize that as they enter the Tears, conditions in Columbia have changed. It may be small things like where an object is to a civil war having taken place. This is important later. Realizing that they cannot leave Columbia without killing the songbird, Booker and Elizabeth search for an instrument to control it. Traveling through the Tears, they end up meeting the Lutece twins. The Lutesses are weird and wacky characters who Booker and Elizabeth learn are actually the same scientists from parallel universes who made contact with each other. Their addition adds a whole realm of complication to the story. The Lutesses reveal that Comstock has been siphoning Elizabeth's power to make sure that she cannot overpower him and escape. This has kept her weak, and the tower where Booker rescued her from is where the siphon is located. Finally, Elizabeth and Booker make their way to confront Comstock on his airship. Comstock demands that Booker explains Elizabeth's past and why she's missing her pinky. Comstock then blames Booker for all of Elizabeth's problems. Booker becomes enraged and he kills Comstock on his fountain in the airship.
You tell me, what did he mean about my finger?
I don't know. I just assumed you were born with it. I don't know.
Your nose. It's bleeding.
What? Elizabeth, I swear to you, I have no idea what he was talking about.
You too. You just can't remember it.
No. I'll prove it to you. We'll destroy the siphon. The answer's behind one of your doors. You just have to open it.
Destroy the siphon? It's the entire tower, Booker. How are we gonna do that?
I don't know.
Comstock has the instrument they want, called the Whistler, to control the songbird. They grab the Whistler from Comstock's airship and head out to the main deck, where they use the songbird to fight off even more troops and make their way to the Monument Island statue where the siphon is located. Here, they
Tear it down. Tear it all down.
and the siphon is destroyed. Elizabeth very quickly comes into her powers. She shows Booker just what all the different tears are and how they affect him in their world.
Whistler! Elizabeth! The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control! He's coming!
No, he isn't.
Finally, we can calm down and talk about the ending. After all these events, most gamers are confused. Through Elizabeth's powers, we learn that Comstock is Booker, and Booker is Comstock. Elizabeth becomes an omniscient god, meaning she knows everything and can do many different things using the power and her ability to go through the tears. The Utesses are also this way with the tears, but that's besides the point, as they can't use them quite the same way. So tears, what exactly are they? They are the holes in space-time that the player often goes through in the game. Elizabeth, by the end of the game, can finally and properly harness this power. She shows Booker the infinite universes that they exist in, and just how different and similar they are.
Look.
It's us.
Not exactly. We swim in different oceans but land on the same shore. It always starts with a lighthouse.
I don't understand.
We don't need to. It'll happen all the same.
Why?
Because it does.
This physically grueling trip through tears leaves Booker to come to the conclusion that at his baptism, he is destined to either become Booker DeWitt or Comstock. We also learn that Elizabeth is originally Booker's daughter, Anna. In a universe where he needed money, he sold her to Comstock through a connection with the Lutesses. He quickly tried to change his mind, but as Comstock and Lutesses took her through the tear, it closed and cut off the tip of her pinky.
No!
Shut down the machine!
No!
Shut it
Anna!
down! Shut down the
Anna!
machine! Now do it!
Give me back my daughter! No!
There's no timeline where Booker and Comstock don't interact. At some point, Comstock will get Anna. Her missing pinky is what allows Elizabeth, who is Anna, to travel through the tears. Elizabeth learns all of this instantly when she gains her powers, but Booker has to learn to accept his mistakes that created this crazy adventure. Elizabeth explains that the only way to end this contradicting loop is to kill Booker before he can make the choice that determines if he becomes Comstock or stays Booker DeWitt. His decision is at his late-in-life baptism after his service in the military. He is transported there through the tear. Here, many different versions of Elizabeth drown Booker to finally end the cycle, with the original Anna being the last one left.
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember. Wait.
Are you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before? Wipe the slate clean.
Who are you?
Start
You
anew.
chose to walk away,
Washed
but in
the
other
blood
oceans,
of the
you
Lamb.
didn't. You took the
Do you
baptism.
hate your sin?
You were born again as a different man.
Do you hate your
It all
wickedness?
has to end to have never started. Not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crab.
Smother.
The earlier version of Elizabeth is the one with the
Before
darker
choice
clothes
is
on the
made,
left.
Before you are
And
reborn.
what name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. I'm both.
So the conclusion? The world is full of infinite universes. That's where the name comes from. And Booker has made some very interesting life choices that results in Elizabeth having this crazy power. But after his death, the loop should end. Everything should be back to normal. But is it? Irrational Games then released a piece of DLC for Bioshock Infinite called Burial at Sea. You first play as a version of Booker in the underwater city of Rapture from the previous Bioshock games. Here you are looking for a girl named Sally. A mysterious version of Elizabeth offers to help you. As you make your way through Rapture, dealing with a few characters from the past games, Booker fears that Sally has become a little sister. Booker's fear turns out to be correct, as they have to turn up the heat to push Sally out of Little Sister vents. She calls for her protector, the Big Daddy. Booker and Elizabeth defeat the Beast, and Booker tries to reason with Sally to get her out of the vent. Through flashbacks, he remembers that he is a version of Comstock that tried to steal Booker's child through a terror device and accidentally killed Anna by severing her head. So he moved to Rapture to forget his troubles. Astonishingly, while remembering this, the Big Daddy gets back up, and the anger-filled Elizabeth, who hates Comstock and now knows that this Booker is Comstock, watches as this universe's Comstock dies on the drill of the Big Daddy.
Shut down the machine!
No, she's not through!
Shut it down!
I remember all of it. That poor child.
She wasn't yours, Comstock.
Oh, no.
I wasn't.
No.
Yet you had to have me, didn't you?
No, this isn't right.
And when the guilt was too much.
You turned to us to solve your problem.
To provide a place to go where you might forget.
Where there never was an Anna in the first place.
Comstock was never one to own up to his errors, was he, brother?
Never comfortable with the choices he made.
Always seeking someone else's life to claim as his own.
I am so sorry.
No, you're not. But you're about to be.
This mainly serves as a standalone story, showing that Elizabeth hates Comstock and has been watching them get killed. But of course, there's a part 2. At the opening of part 2, a character from the first games named Alice shows up and loots Booker, or Comstock's, body. Elizabeth wakes up, only to find her body also having been impaled and killed by the Big Daddy. Her practical god status allows her to still exist in this universe, though. She decides that her new job is to clean up Rapture and rescue Sally because of the guilt for killing the Booker that wanted to save Sally. To do this, her subconscious version of Booker, almost like a hallucination, reveals that she must help Atlas, someone who is banished from Rapture by the leader Andrew Ryan. Elizabeth travels to help him, but as she does, Alice's men capture her and are looking for a mysterious ace in the hole. Elizabeth is given a forced overdose of truth serum by Alice's men. She wakes up while the Rapture Civil War is in full swing. Alice painfully threatens Sally with a forced lobotomy in order to get Elizabeth to say where the ace in the hole is. Through a stroke of luck, Elizabeth uses another timeline to learn that it is in Dr. Suchong's laboratory, a doctor who is also in the previous Bioshock games. Through her exploration there, she accidentally kills Dr. Suchong by securing the genetic link between Big Daddy and Little Sister. This is the first time this has been really done. Little Sister's just needed to help the Big Daddy when it was injured, similar to Elizabeth helping the Songbird in Bioshock Infinite.
We can help. Help.
When Suchong dies, this happens to be right near the ace. She makes her way back to Atlas to give him the ace and rescue Sally, since she is still being held hostage. Here, Atlas knocks her out after being given the ace. She starts seeing flashes of the original Bioshock's opening with the plane crash and the lighthouse. She then translates the science talk on a piece of paper holding the ace, and it says, "Would you kindly?" This is a large reveal. It is the famous phrase from the original Bioshock, and we see that this version of Elizabeth sets all of the first game's events in motion by giving Atlas the key phrase. Here she also learns this action eventually saves Sally, as she is one of the cured little sisters from the ending of the first game that makes it out of Rapture.
We both know what happens next. Just get it over with.
Well, love, if you insist.
What is this? It's just a bunch of gibberish. What does this say? Hey! What does this say?
It says... Would you kindly...
We've got the activation phrase. Now all we've got to do is get that genetic freak of nature on an airplane, and Rapture's ours. Yeah!
Chooses, a slave obeys.
We say to save one life is to save the world entire. It is you who are very sick.
I can see all the doors, and what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, incredibly, I see him.
Je vois la vie en rose. Il m'a dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours. Et ça me fait quelque chose.
The ending connects everything. It shows that Elizabeth is a constant in the universes. This connection between the little sisters helping the daddy and Elizabeth helping the songbird are parallel because of Fink talking to Suchong through a tear. Everything has parallels in these universes, further cementing the idea that Elizabeth, Booker, and the songbird are all relationships that can be found no matter the universe. All in all, the Bioshock universe is neatly wrapped up with a pretty bow, with everything being connected through parallel universes created by stupid scientists, greed, and one very unlucky girl.
Be unbroken by and by and by is a better home awaiting in the sky.